Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into some really fascinating research that kind of cuts through all the noise and assumptions about intimacy to see what the data actually tells us. Let's see what we can find out. So let's just jump right in with the big question this whole study was trying to answer. What are the key areas of female arousal? It's such a central part of physical intimacy, but so often it's all just guesswork instead of actual, data. And speaking of data, where are we getting this info? Well, it comes from a 2019 survey by a company called Superdrug. And they didn't just ask a few people. They polled about 2,500 women to get some real answers. That's a pretty big group, so these results are definitely worth paying close attention to. So, what's the big reveal? What did all of these women actually say? Well, the survey pinpointed a really strong consensus around 5 specific areas. 5 key zones that kept coming up again and again as being super important during intimacy. So let's break them down. All right, coming in at number 1 is the back of the neck. Yeah, according to the women in this study, it's one of the most sensitive spots on the entire body. But here's the kicker. It also seems to be one of the most overlooked. In fact, the source material specifically says that a lot of partners just mistakenly avoid this area. The research strongly suggests that focusing here can lead to arousal really quickly, which makes it an incredibly powerful but often forgotten spot. Okay, so what's number 2? The ears. The study found that light, really subtle touching or kissing here is, well, it's very, very appreciated. It's all about that gentle connection, not anything too aggressive. Next on the list, the thighs. The research literally described this area as a point of high excitement. According to the women who responded, touching her thighs can make her feel incredibly excited and build this really powerful sense of connection with her partner. Now, our 4th point is the back. And I think this one is so interesting. The study calls it a comfort zone. It's an area where women really desire affection and gentle touch. Things like kissing, caressing, or even just resting a hand on your back were shown to seriously increase sexual desire. It's this idea that feeling safe and cared for is a huge part of arousal. And finally, rounding out the top 5, we have the front of the neck. Just like the back of the neck, it's another one of those highly sensitive and really arousing areas. And there you have it, the top 5 zones according to the survey. Okay, so we have a list, right? 5 body parts. But if you think that's the whole story, you're missing the most important part, because knowing where these places are isn't the real discovery here. What's crucial is what this all tells us on a much deeper level. So let's get to the real takeaway. See, the real insight here isn't just a map of the body. It's more like a guide to a different way of thinking. Think about it. They call the back a comfort zone, which directly links arousal to feelings of safety and affection. It tells us that intimacy really thrives on attentiveness, on paying attention to the small things, not just trying to follow some kind of script. It suggests the foundation isn't just knowing what to do, but creating an environment of trust where your partner feels seen and heard and understood. And really, that all starts with communication. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've got all of this great information from the study, right? But to actually apply it, you need something more. It really makes you ask the question, in our relationships, is genuine understanding way more important than just having the information? Something to think about. Thanks so much for watching.